This episode is sponsored by Petra Kolp. Hello and welcome back to Film Pro Productivity and Success, the podcast that helps creative people to live a more focused, effective and happy life. My name is Carter Ferguson and this is episode 169, The Let Them Theory, how to stop stressing about what you can't control. Let them judge you, let them misunderstand you, let them gossip about you. Their opinions aren't your problem. Mel Robbins, unquote. In last week's show, I looked at how jealousy and grace can affect our life and work as freelancers. If you missed the show and think that's something that you could benefit from, then please go check it out. Now, today though, if you've ever spent too much time worrying about what other people think, trying to control their behaviour or stressing over their opinions, then you're going to love this episode. What if the key to freedom was two simple words? Let them. Today, we're diving into Mel Robbins' Let Them Theory and how it can change the way you approach freelancing, creativity, and life. As creative freelancers, we're constantly bombarded with opinions from clients, colleagues, friends, and even random individuals on social media who decide it is their place to comment on whatever you've posted. The desire to control others' reactions or behaviours can become overwhelming and lead to unnecessary stress, though negatively impacting our creativity and overall well-being. The Let Them Theory presents an alternative approach by encouraging us to concentrate our energy on aspects within our control while giving up hold on external factors. The Let Them Theory is a mindset shift where you stop trying to control how other people act, think, or feel. Instead, you let them do what they want, say what they want, and think what they want, while you focus on yourself. By doing this, you free yourself from the weight of other people's opinions or behaviours, and it helps you to focus on what matters: your actions, your goals, and your energy. In their own words, the Let Them Theory is like a sigh of relief for your stressed brain. It helps you to reclaim control over your anxious thoughts so that your brain and body can finally get out of survival mode and back to thriving. I've written up examples of this in context to show you how the Let Them Theory applies to freelancers and creatives. Number 1, let them criticise your work. Not everyone will love what you create, and that's okay. Instead of trying to please everyone, focus on your clients, your audience, or your collaborators who align with your vision. And for example, a client might not like a design that a graphic artist has put together. Instead of over-explaining, take that feedback professionally and just let them have that opinion. The second example I would give of this is let them say no. Not every single pitch you put together will land, and not every client will say yes. And instead of taking their rejection personally, just see it as part of the process. For example, you pitch your services to a potential client and they say no thanks. So instead of chasing them, just let them say no and move on to the next opportunity. Leave it at that. Some things work out and some things don't. Number 3, let them have their boundaries. Clients, collaborators, or even friends might not always say yes to your requests or ideas, and that is fine. Respect their boundaries while holding onto your own. Another example of this would be that a client doesn't want to expand the budget for a project, so instead of pushing, just let them stick to their limits and decide if the project still works for you. Let the project be limited by their budget and let them know that that is why perhaps everything they dreamed was going to come together in it hasn't happened for them. Number 4 would be let them judge you. People will always have opinions about your career, your prices, or your creative choices, but instead of defending or justifying yourself, let them think what they want while staying true to your own values. An example of this would be a family member questions why you're freelancing instead of working in a real job, instead of arguing with them, just let them have their opinion while you continue to build your dream. Number 5 that I've got here is let them leave. Not every client or collaborator is meant to stay in your life forever. Not every friend is either, incidentally. Letting go of a difficult client or collaborator or friend can open up space for better opportunities. And an example of that would be that a long-term client that you've worked with many times before just moves on to another freelancer. Instead of clinging on to them, let them go and use the space that that's created to find new clients that are maybe more aligned with what you're trying to do. And my final example here now is for number 6. Let gossips talk their talk. Funnily enough, this gossip thing's come up both in the last episode and the previous episode, and it is a problem. But let gossips talk their talk. As a freelancer, you might encounter gossip, more than likely, or criticism that doesn't align with your values or your professional reputation. Rather than engaging in the gossip or trying to change people's opinions, focus on building your own integrity and allowing your actions to speak for themselves. This is, again, I've talked about this in the past in regards to online trolls. Do not give fuel to the fire of online trolls. If they're trying to start a discussion about it, what they want is to get a reaction from you. So instead of trying to react and change their minds and state your case, ignore anything like that. Ignore gossip and ignore someone that's going to cause trouble for you. Just ignore it and build on your own integrity and let those actions of yours stand. And an example of this that I've got here is you hear rumours about your professionalism, and instead of engaging in the gossip, continue producing your own high quality work, maintaining clear communication with clients, and showcasing your dedication to what you do. The let them philosophy isn't about ignoring problems or being complacent. It's about wisely managing your energy, choosing your battles, and understanding that you can't fix or control everything. Mel Robbins, unquote. And I know it's all very well for me to say this, but what are the tangible benefits of practicing the let them theory say? Here are 5 reasons why adopting this attitude is a good idea. Number 1, less stress and burnout. You stop wasting energy trying to control things that you can't. By redirecting your efforts towards what you can actually influence, you'll conserve your mental and emotional resources, make better decisions, and ultimately achieve greater success in your work and in your personal life. Second, focus on what you can control. Instead of worrying about others, you can focus on your work, goals, and your self-improvement. And this mindset will empower you to take control of your own life and work and ensure continued development and achievement in those areas. Number 3, it gives you emotional freedom. You stop taking things personally and learn to accept people as they are. You have to accept that some people will always be difficult to deal with, whether they're gossips, stubborn, or just an asshole. I keep saying asshole. I don't know if it's because I'm writing my notes on this, but arsehole is what I'm saying, or they're just an arsehole, and there are a lot of arseholes around. By recognizing and accepting these people for who they are, you can avoid taking their behaviour personally, and this helps maintain a better mindset, allowing you to preserve your energy for yourself and focus on your own goals. Realizing that some people simply will never change your behaviours frees you from the effort of trying to alter them and allows you to redirect your efforts towards a more productive life and work. And I'd add to that too, that some people you just can't save. There are people out there that if you've got that need to help others within you and you give all of your energy to these people, some people, not all of them, are unsavable. And focusing your efforts back on yourself rather than getting drawn in by those sort of toxic archetypes that are like energy vampires is another thing worth mentioning here. But number 3 there, emotional freedom. Number 4, better relationships. When you respect others' choices and opinions, you will create healthier and more balanced relationships with them. This approach helps you to reduce conflicts and misunderstandings and ultimately creates a more harmonious environment for in both your personal life and in the professional world. And I'd add too that when you let go of the need to control others' opinions, you will liberate yourself from the frustrations and emotional effort that often accompanies these attempts that you make. Number 5, more creativity and confidence. Letting go of this sort of external noise gives you the mental space to focus on your own creative work and to trust your instincts more. When you release your focus on other people's opinions or irrelevant distractions, when you let that go, you create better mental space to concentrate on your own creative work. And by letting go of the need to control others, you develop a deeper trust in your own instincts, as I said, and you'll become more confident in your ability to make decisions, and ultimately this will result in better, more authentic, more personal and more impactful work. So, all that said, let me sum up with some basic rules to help you out here. Step 1, recognize what you're trying to control. Ask yourself, am I trying to control how this client, say, responds to my work? Am I trying to change someone's opinion of me? Am I holding on to something that I should let go of? And if the answers to any of those are yes, then work hard to let go and move on. Get that mindset shift made and work on it to ensure you can let go of it. Step 2, shift your focus. Instead of focusing on others, focus on yourself. What can you do to improve? What's within your control? Answer those questions and life will get a whole lot easier. Number 3, practice detachment. When you notice yourself getting upset or frustrated, remind yourself, let them. Say it out loud, say it in your head, let them. Whatever, let them. An example being a client doesn't respond to your email for days, and instead of stressing, let them take their time and move on to what you can do next. I've had a rough time dealing with an editor on a project I'm attached with in the last few days, and they're deliberately trying to mess me about by not relaying when and if they actually do anything, and they're forcing me into a position where I have to constantly chase them up. I've put the whole thing aside for now so that I can get on with what's important to me, this podcast for a start, and not get caught up in their nonsense by constantly checking in only to be annoyed or disappointed by them. Step 4, set boundaries. Letting others do what they want doesn't mean you sacrifice your boundaries. And just to follow up on my last example, I've decided that if I don't hear from this editor, I'm not going to check up on whether they've done something or not. My boundary is that, well, I will only respond to them when I am asked to. I'm not going to look at what has been done unless they tell me something has been done. That's my boundary. So set boundaries. Number 5, trust yourself. Letting go of control means trusting that you're capable of handling whatever happens. Imagine you're a designer facing a client who isn't satisfied with your work. So rather than resisting that feedback from them, you trust your ability to adapt. You stay professional, listen to their concerns, and create a new design that will align with their vision. And by letting go of control, you can demonstrate resilience, you can build trust, and you can navigate the situation effectively. So those 5 steps, as I say, that were the basic rules here are: recognize when you are trying to control. Recognize that. Step 2, shift your focus. Step 3, practice detachment. Step 4, set boundaries. And step 5, trust yourself. Trust you have the ability to handle whatever happens. And the key takeaway, perhaps, from today's episode is to recognize that you can't control others, but that you have the power to shape your own responses and actions. By adopting the let them theory, you free yourself from unnecessary stress, redirecting your energy towards the elements of your life that truly matter, your aspirations, your own creative endeavors, and your inner harmony. I mean, I could give an example of just recording this podcast today. I have several pulls on my time. I've been trying to, I might have mentioned it in earlier episodes, trying to dodge work a little bit, trying to reduce the amount of work I've got because I've had so many things to do, and I've got 2 different jobs have come in at the one time, and I've got a business-related matter that I'm dealing with as well. I was getting stressed that these two productions were clashing, and they were clashing, but that's actually sorted itself out. It's no longer a clash with these. I'm going to complete 3 or 4 more episodes this week, and next week I'm giving up entirely to that. I'm going to go into these jobs for a full week, and then I'll return to this. But if I sat here stressing about what I can't control, like their schedules, I wouldn't be recording this at all. So I just had to let that go. I had to put aside. The other problem is that the business-related matter cannot complete now, because next week for 4 days I'm shooting on a feature film and a TV show. So if I rushed through the business affairs this week, I would not be able to deal with the fallout from those business matters next week, when I know I'm going to be on sets for long hours. So I'm just letting these film things do their own thing. I'm letting the business thing sit there for a week, and I'm focusing on this. And if I didn't let all that just go on without me, I wouldn't be recording this show. So anyway, let me urge you today to embrace the freedom that comes with letting go, because ultimately the let them theory will empower you to protect your mental and emotional resources and pave the way for increased productivity. That's the point of the show. It'll increase your productivity, it'll increase your well-being, and it'll lead to success in whatever your creative pursuits are. Your call to action this week is to reflect on one stressor that is beyond your control, and to consider how you can reframe your focus and prioritize that kind of self-empowerment. Ask yourself, what can you do to shift your energy towards what truly matters to you while letting others be who they are? Find a way to let go and refocus your time, your energy, and your patience back in yourself by applying some of the guidance from today's episode. And always remember that when you stop trying to control others, you free yourself to focus on what truly matters. In next week's show, I'll be talking about taking action, getting stuff done, and as always comes up when people write into me about dealing with anything that could be classed as procrastination, a truly classic productivity topic. If you found today's episode engaging or insightful, I would truly appreciate your support. So by subscribing or leaving a review and sharing this podcast episode, perhaps with your network, you'll help me to build a community of like-minded individuals who value personal and professional growth, and I really would appreciate it. One thing that some people do is they'll screen grab the episode as they're listening to it, and they'll put it up on their social media, ideally with a link to wherever you're listening to the show. It's available on all podcast apps. So if you fancy doing that, a little bit of social for you, that would be really, really useful. But let me end today with some wise words from Penny Reid, who said, "You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm." Now take control of your own destiny, keep on shooting, and join me next time on Film Pro Productivity and Success. The music you're listening to right now is Adventures by A. Himitsu, and you can view the full transcription of this episode only on the official website, filmproproductivity.com. You can also listen to any of the shows there via your desktop. Please follow, let's just say, follow me on Instagram, that's my personal account, Instagram @fight_director, or you can follow the show on Twitter @FilmProProdPod or on Facebook @FilmProProductivity. Please do continue to support the show by subscribing, spreading the word, and leaving an awesome review. See you next week.